Okay, this video is just to do some basic configurations on your Cerbo GX if you're setting it up for the first time, and this assumes that you're using an inverter. In this case it's multiplus. I've got a smart solar charge controller and I'm using a lithium battery. It's a Dynas, and the Dynas has its own BMS, which is crucial. So the Dynas is going to be using the BMS to control the smart solar. Right, first you need to make sure your Cerbo is on. Connect to the wireless network, which will begin with the word Venus, and once you've done that, go into Victron Connect and look on your device list. There you'll see Cerbo GX, and you want one with an IP address in the name, so it's in this case 172.24. Click on that, and in this screen you'll get the thing that says Remote Console. Click on that and you'll get the Remote Console screen up. Now you want to get into the menu, so there are two ways you can do this. If you've got the hotkeys screen on the right hand side, you can click the space bar, which brings up the little black bar at the bottom of the screen, or alternatively you can just click in the middle of the left hand side of the screen, which will bring it up, and then click on menu. That gets your device list. Now if you have a configured lithium battery, it should appear in this list. I'm just using a power supply at the moment, so you can't see the battery. You're going to go into settings, and then we're just going to work our way down the settings. So first, general. You need to make sure that I usually turn audible alarm off. You can leave it on. Don't change anything else in there. Ignore firmware for now, though you can update it. Go to date and time, and then just make sure that that is set for your area, because it'll be helpful later on when you're taking you're looking at records on VRM or something like that. So I'm going to go down to Europe. Buttons are pretty small, so you've got to be careful what you're doing. Europe, GMT. Okay, when you've done that, click the back arrow. Next one, remote console. I'm going to disable password check because it's only me using it. And crucially, enable on VRM, so that you can access this screen remotely if you need to. Well, I can if I'm looking after the system. System setup. Now in here you want to set your AC inputs. So if this is an off-grid system, we're going to assume that AC input 1 is likely to be generator, and there is no AC input 2. Your battery monitor, leave it on automatic, and it will default. If there's a lithium battery connected, it'll usually default to the lithium battery to manage the battery voltage detection. Or you can set it if you have a different battery monitor you want to use. But for systems with a lithium battery, just set it there. If you've got a smart shunt or a BMV and a shunt, then you can set it to that in your system. Going down, DVCC. Now this only really applies if you have a lithium battery in the system. If you have a lithium battery in the system, you can turn this on and then switch all the options off. That will let the battery manage the smart solar charge controller. If you have lead acid batteries, leave DVCC off. Display in language, we can leave that alone. BRM online portal. Go in here. Now I would set the log interval here to as short as possible, generally speaking. You get better data. So set that to 1 minute. 1 minute. Click the tick button. Use secure connection, you want to do that. You'll also find your VRM portal ID in here if you need it. It's also on the sticker on the side of your device. Now, you also want to enable VRM two-way communication, and that might be off by default. That's very important if you want to be able to update stuff in here from a remote location. ESS, if you're not connected to the grid, you can leave that off for now. ESS options will only show if you've got ESS configured in your Multi-Plus. Energy meters, we can leave that. PV inverters, wireless AC sensors. Okay, so that's all our options set now. You don't need to reboot the device. Those options are saved, and that's your Cerbo GX setup, ready to connect to everything else. If you need to make a VRM connection, then go to vrm.victron.com, set up a new account. You go through, you'll just need your personal details, and you'll need the VRM ID, which is on a sticker on the side of the Cerbo, or it's in here in the VRM part of the menu. If you do that, as long as your Cerbo is connected to the internet, then you'll be able to make a connection. And if you want to change the internet settings in the Cerbo, you can go to Menu, Settings, now if you've got a wired connection into the Ethernet port on the Cerbo, you can go to Ethernet, or if you're going to connect the Cerbo to a Wi-Fi network, go to Wi-Fi and go to Wi-Fi networks, and then look for the local wireless network that you're going to create. Now you'll notice that the Cerbo is creating its own wireless network so that we can connect to it. You don't want to connect to that, you need to connect to an external Wi-Fi network. And once you've connected it once, it'll go back and reconnect. You'll just need the password for the Wi-Fi network. And then your Cerbo will be able to talk to the outside world and to VRM. Hopefully that's been useful. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions. Thanks very much.